There you go. So, hello, my pride and joy. Thank you for being here on another episode of Roaring Like Lions Live. And today we have guest speaker Nacy with us, and I'm really happy that she's here. So, Nacy, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, thank you for having me, Elsie. I so appreciate you allowing me to come on and share what I do with your audience. Um, I'm a business life coach, is actually what I do. And I am looking to help empty nesters. I am not, I want to say right up front that I'm not a doctor of any kind or a clinician. I have no medical experience. So, one of the things with empty nest syndrome, which is a real condition, however, it is not a professional diagnosis. But one of the signs and symptoms of it is depression. And if anyone is experiencing severe depression or any type of harmful thoughts, suicide, please call the National Suicide Hotline, because that's not something that I can help you with, nor would I want to try. But anyway, what I do is I'm a business coach, and I have 4 children. All are grown now, and I had an awful time with empty nest. I was just so lonely. My self-worth was so attached to the raising of my children. And my youngest left when I was about 48 years old. So I not only had empty nest, but I was going through menopause at the same time. So talk about an emotional roller
Wow.
coaster. And, when you're going through the empty nest, depending on how young you were, how many children you had, there's all kinds of conditions that are going to happen at the same time. If you've started your family later in life, you may have the death of a spouse or a loved one to go through at the same time. Or, you may be going through retirement, which again is another life change. So the empty nest syndrome isn't something that normally happens all by itself, and it's not something you can compartmentalize and say, I got through this, now on to the next thing. But I like to help women, and I'm specifically looking for women who have the desire to start a business. I belong with a network organization that I have so many contacts that when I'm coaching someone, if they want to move on to another level or another step that is outside of my realm of capability, I know there's someone that I can lead them to and that can give them help. So I'm not relying on just my own expertise, but I'm also relying on those connections that I have that I can help people grow.
Oh, that's really awesome. It's so important to have those connections because as coaches, we can take somebody so far and then it's time for them to go with someone else. And it's great that you have so many connections and networking that you're doing. So there's always an option out there. I really like that. Um, so are there things that uh, people could prepare themselves before they become an empty nest? I mean, sometimes we only have one child, some have two, some have several, and some are like, haven't you all gotten out of here yet? But but at some point, how do we prepare ahead of time so when they are gone, we're just not, wow, now what do I do?
That's a great question. And um, unlike myself, like I said, my whole identity, or most of it, was attached to my kids, and that's when it's such a shock. It's the realization, if you can look ahead and see that your children are going to be leaving, and start before they leave, looking into hobbies, looking into volunteer opportunities, things that will take up some of the time that you used in caring for your children, then yes, it will help. Although you have to realize too that we all have our own emotional highs and lows, and we all have our own personalities. So you sort of have to do a little bit of soul searching to find out exactly what your trigger points are and what you can do to help yourself move on. Some people are better off being just by themselves, maybe picking up some new books, find a series of books, and just sitting down and taking a rest. I mean, like I said, I have had 4 children. I know families who have had more children than that, but when you start getting 2 and over, you can get burnout really easily with raising those kids. And sometimes you need to take that break just to say, take a step back and say, I need a little bit of alone time. It's when you spend too much time alone and you start realizing with it, within those thoughts within yourself, that my kids are gone now. What do I want to do? What is my purpose now? And that's when you want to look ahead and say, there are so many opportunities with the network that we have now, the internet and everything that's out there. It really is the best time to try and find something new and to grow a hobby, volunteer, grow a business. There's just so many opportunities out there. And as women, we are growing and becoming more vocal in the things that we can do. I'm from a generation where the women were kind of half and half. Some went off and found jobs and were working mothers. A lot of the mothers were still stay-at-homes. A lot of my friends were stay-at-home moms, and that's where we found the identity issue was much stronger, because we had all that extra time and they were our livelihood. I mean, that's what we did. But now you have a different kind. I mean, we've got so many single parents out there now, not only women, but there's men that are devoted to their kids, plus trying to find, keep a roof over their heads, make the money to pay the bills. And so, the empty nest looks a little bit different today than it did whenever I went through it. And it's making those adjustments that help each person personally.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was just thinking about, we prepare our kids to be grown up, to live on their own, to make the decisions once they're out of the home. And, I wonder if maybe we forget that once they're gone, because we've always been there to prepare them, that at some point we have to say, okay, I've prepared them. Now I have to stop and let them spread their wings and fly. I've heard, I don't know, I haven't researched this, so I don't know how true it is, but I've heard that an eagle's nest, they will actually, they're up on a cliff, they'll actually start taking the nest apart. So there's no nest left by the time the eaglet is ready to spread its wings and fly, and they have to go out. And I don't know if that's, I'm just kind of wondering how that all fits in with having the empty nest syndrome. Does it make it better? Is it still about the same? Is that something you've come across? We've prepared them all. I don't know.
That's the first time I've heard that. I don't know if eagles do that or not. I find that very interesting, though, because that's kind of what happens when the children leave. I mean, your nest is not the same. You may have the same home, but you'll find that there are a lot of parents that right away they'll downsize because they don't need, the same amount of space that they needed before. And depending on the personality, that can help or that can hinder. But it's the best time for either a man or a woman. I can only speak as a woman since that's what I am. But we need to start looking at self-care. Women are caregivers by nature.
Right.
And we put everybody else's needs before our own. And when you come to the empty nest, that's when it really hits, because the people that you cared for are no longer there. So, you want to look at things that you can do for yourself, for your own self-care. And it's not just doing activities. It might be just taking a long bubble bath, or, just doing something that you enjoy that you really just didn't have the time for before. In my instance, now I said I have 4 children, but as each of my first 3 children left, we picked up a dog. How that came about, that was not planned. How that came about, I don't know, but we picked up a dog. So The idea of a bubble bath, that still was kind of difficult for us because my dogs follow you everywhere.
Oh,
They're
no.
just like the kids. But something like that that can kind of take the place of a child, that can also help you get through the difficult time, because you still are going to have some responsibilities there. You have to supply the food, you have to supply the roof over their head. And
And
in our
clean up
case
after
anyway,
them.
you clean up after them just like you do for the kids. And they can be temperamental. They
Yeah.
they bring a lot of joy into our house because of all their little antics that they do, just like children. So it's not necessarily just finding those kinds of things, but it's finding what you need to fill that void. Find a group, look on Facebook or look at your local church. Find other people that are going through the same experience that you can make friends with, and you can share how you're feeling. And because, we can become self-involved
Yeah.
in feeling down. If we look at someone else and find someone else who is going through a similar experience, but maybe we have something that we can help them get through.
Hmm.
So if we're concentrating on helping them, we're not feeling so self-absorbed and so down ourselves.
Yeah. That's
It's a little bit
good
like
points. Go ahead.
misery loves company, but instead you're lifting each other up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And you're growing. You're growing. You're not
Yeah.
staying there. Yeah. You're still growing. That's some really good points. I know, I get thinking about what it must have been like for my grandmothers who had 8 and 10 children, and you're going all the time. By the time the young ones have finally gotten out of the home, now you have all the grandbabies coming in. And we don't have that so much anymore. I mean, some still have that, but a lot of us have decided too, okay, we've raised our kids. We don't want to be the full-time mama again. This is our time to go do stuff. And I like what you said, that we need to start looking into things that we do like before the nest is completely empty. It used to be you were crocheting or doing quilts, and the world has opened up so much now. It is nothing like it was for my parents, or especially my grandparents, but nothing for like my mom. But there's maybe an example. My mother, she loved to paint. She loved being active. So she went and found some groups that were painting, and she would go paint landscapes and all kinds of things. And she started painting on old saw blades, and it got my dad involved because he'd prepare all the blades for her so they were ready to go. And he'd put the primer on, but she would do the painting. And that might be something too, if you're still married, if you're not a widow or divorced. Maybe this is now a time that you two can discover each other. Some people might say, I don't want to discover, but it might be good, you know.
Oh,
This,
absolutely.
yeah,
It's one of the best times you can have with your spouse, because I don't know, like I said, I can only speak for myself, but when my husband and I first got married, we struggled financially. I mean, neither one of us at that point had our college educations yet. So, we struggled financially. We started our family right away. So we not only had our normal bills, but we had all the formula, the diapers. And, don't get me wrong, my parents and his parents loved being grandparents. So we had a lot of support and a lot of help, but
nice.
still, it fell to us to take care of our new family. So, now that our children are grown up and we have freedom now. So
Yes.
this is a time for us to, and I love the fact that you said you and your mother and your father did the saws, because things like that where you have a common interest can be so enjoyable, and you can take the time to enjoy it because you don't have someone standing over your shoulder needing a drink or needing a treat, or just needing attention. You can concentrate on each other and regrowing a new bond, if
Yeah.
not strengthening the one you already have.
Yeah. I like that, regrowing a new bond, because I think it is. I think about our kids when they finally left. It was like, you know, we needed to go find things that we like to do together. And it's not always easy because, he's still working. I wasn't working at that time. And so, I found things that interested me, but when we're together, we need to find things that interest both of us. And we did. And it's been enjoyable. Now we have all these other memories. And what I love it is we can share what we're doing with our now adult children. They're not the little kids anymore. They're not the brand new college kids. They've gotten into the older ages, with the kids and with the grandkids, but we can share our experiences with each other, and it's like this whole new version in life. Yeah, there's a lot of benefits to it, and I don't think I would have really seen that if I hadn't been talking with you. That's great.
Yeah, we took one last family vacation. My oldest was in college, and my youngest he was around 12, I would say. And we went on a cruise. We did a family cruise because we knew that once my son went to college, we probably wouldn't get that opportunity. But I have to tell you, last summer, we did an Airbnb in Michigan, and we had all but my daughter that lives in Omaha wasn't able to join us, but we had all four of our grandchildren and our other three children and their spouses, and we had a blast. And it was amazing to watch the little ones just run around and have a good time, because it was on a farm, so there was a big yard. They could do what they wanted to do. We spent time at the beach. We spent one whole day. We rented a pontoon and just went out and rode on the lake. And I mean, you can appreciate your children more, I think, when they're adults and they can understand adult things,
Yep.
and yet because the grandchildren are there, we still have the younger ones to enjoy. But yeah, like you were saying, my husband and I, we love date nights now. When we were first dating, we dated for a year and were engaged for a year. So when we first met, you're nervous and you wonder what you want to say to each other. And now we just go out, we find something we enjoy doing, even if it's just going out to dinner, and we just relax and enjoy each other's company. We are so excited. This Friday is the new Top Gun movie that's coming out, and
Yes.
we are going to see it.
Oh,
That's a
fun.
movie that we both have enjoyed. So, we look forward to these kinds of things, and I think it's good, that you can do that. But even if you're a single parent and you don't have that spouse to share that, why not go out and find, a friend to do these fun things with? Date nights, they don't have to be date nights. They can just be fun nights out. Go to lunch with a friend and just talk and catch up and learn things about each other that, because you haven't had that time to do it before.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And my cousin, her and a friend of hers, they actually go on cruises together. And, this last time they went to Paris, and they just have so much fun together and going to all of these places. Her and her husband, before he passed away, they used to go on cruises and stuff. And, sometimes they'd have other family that went with them. But yeah, she just found one of her friends, and it's like, well, how about we go do this? So that's a really great idea. So I know we're running short on time, but I want to find out. So when somebody comes to you for, what'd you call it? A life business coach? Is that the right
I'm a
word?
business life coach. Yes.
Business
I
life
look for
coach.
people who are struggling in, I'm specifically looking for empty nest because that's something I relate to, but I'm specifically looking for women who are trying to find a way to start a business.
Okay. And so how are some of the ways that you can help them? Do they have an idea already and they come to you, or do you kind of look for their strengths or what they enjoy? How do you start out? Let's go that way.
What a great question. It took me a while to find my niche, so to speak, and to find my passion. So I can start from the clear beginning and we can just work our way up. And yes, usually it's something that you enjoy doing. something maybe that you've wanted to do and you've had an interest in it, but you just didn't know where to start. Those are the kinds of things that I'm looking for. And those are the kind of areas that I can help you in. Because, you know, it's a little bit like college. You know, kids will start college and they think they know exactly what their plan is. And by the time they get through those basic courses, they've decided they've changed their mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can do that with this too. Your interests
Okay.
can lead in all kinds of different directions. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So you kind of open up their eyes to maybe more opportunities that are out there than they thought possible. It's like, you know,
absolutely.
maybe I like researching things, but all I can think of is researching this one topic. And you can show them, you know what, we can take that skill and do other things.
Mhm. Oh, absolutely. There's so many ways to help other people. And that's really what starting a business is about. I mean, yes, I'm approaching retirement, so I'm hoping to help with my retirement. But the more people, I don't know if you're familiar with Zig Ziglar, but one of his sayings was, you know, the more people you help, the more help you will get, you know, the more
Yeah.
progress that you will make. So it's about helping others and helping them see their success. And that's the exciting part for me, is to watching others reach their dreams.
Me too. I love that so much. I don't think there's anything for me personally that energizes me more than knowing that I helped guide somebody to the place that they were looking for, hadn't been able to find it. Now they've got it and they're just taking off. I love that.
Absolutely. And as a coach, you know, we're not really doing the work. They're still doing all the work.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
just guiding them and showing them different opportunities.
Yeah. Someone once called me a tour guide for unpublished writers. And I thought that was kind of funny. And then I got to thinking about it. Well, it's true. So, what does a tour guide do? A tour guide does not tell you, go here, do this, do that, do that. It's like they listen to what you want to do. They find the places where you can do that, and they give you the option to choose. You know, if you've chosen something already, they might say, here's these options here. You know, some tours are that way, but the guide is telling you more about what's going on behind the scenes. They'll also tell you places to avoid. You know, don't take this because of this reason, you know, or don't stay here because of this reason. So yeah, that I really like that example.
That's the importance. And I got to tell you, I love the tour guide analysis in coaching, because I think that's perfect. But when you're looking, you said about it also shows you, you know, the things not to do or the places not to go. And that's the advantage of finding something that you're passionate about, because you may have already tripped up on some of the things as you've been working through your process. And that's where you can help other people, you know, skip over those potholes and not have to experience them.
Yeah, and I think that's really important because as you get older, it's like you don't have, you know, 40 years ahead of you. Some
Right.
might, but for most of us, you know, we don't have 40 more years ahead of us to do what we want to do, either because we'll end up with physical limitations or mental limitations, you know, health issues or whatever that goes on there. So we need to look at things that can get us where we want to go. And it's great to have somebody who's there to guide us along, so we miss the pitfalls, so we miss, you know, putting our money where it doesn't belong. And I like that. I like that a lot. So where can
Keep in
people
mind,
find?
it's never I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead.
just keep in mind it's never too late to start.
That's
You
right.
know,
That's
there's
right.
always things that we can learn and do along the way.
Yeah, you know, I just started this, you know, a month ago and I love it. So but
Uh-huh.
and I do. I love this so much. I love being able to share people's dreams with other people and giving them the hope that they maybe didn't have before. Um, so where can people find you when you know, they're saying, yeah, I'd like to really get started in my business, or I'd like to really start learning about empty nesting before it actually happens, or I'm there right now. How can they get a hold of you?
On Facebook is the best place to do it right now. My name is Nacy H. Lipari. It's spelled Lipari. And if you contact me there, let me know that you had seen this broadcast. And, I'll be sure to and friend you and we can start a conversation. I will let you know that my business is called Sunset Blessings. I have a Facebook page where I do a Bible study, and I also have a business startup and accountability page that we're working on growing right now, actually. And so, yeah, I'm just starting my business, so I have just a few places where I can be contacted, but I'm going to be growing that as well.
Oh, nice, nice. So, you're just starting out. So, but you've helped people along the way already. I mean, I
I
know
have,
you've helped
I have,
me.
I have had several people who I have had coached, and the very first client I had was someone that was with an MLM. It wasn't a business that she was just completely starting on her own.
Oh,
Really, what she needed was just the self-confidence to do the things that she needed to do. And in my coaching business, I don't like to look at them as clients. The ones that I've had, they're my friends.
yeah,
And we talk about things, we talk about family because family stresses can cause issues as well. So, and you have to know that everything that is discussed is confidential. I don't discuss anything that, anyone that shares anything with me, it stays between us. It doesn't go anywhere else. So yeah, it's just, we build the relationship to start off with. And then if I can help with the business, then we discuss that. The business is secondary. The relationship is first.
oh, nice. That's really good. It's good to have somebody that you can build trust with and know that they're going to take you on the journey that they want to go on. I'm not sure if I'm getting my words right. So let's change it. If I was to come to you, it would be nice to know that I can trust you with the journey I want to go on, and you'll guide me to the vision I'm looking at and the dream I have. And I think that's real important. It's too easy to get involved with somebody who says, well, this is what you need to do, this, and this, and that'll get you to where I want you to go. Well, it's not about what the coach wants. It's about what the person wants, where they want to go. And the challenges they're going to face, especially as we're getting older, the challenges we face are going to be very different than we would have faced when we were 20 years younger.
Yes. Well, and in my coaching business, I don't have, and I know that some coaches do, and I'm sure that they work just fine, is
Mm-hmm.
the processes. You do this, this, and this. That's not the way I work because I don't think it's a one size fit all. We all have our different dreams. I like to build the relationship first, and then I can give you suggestions on things that you've shared with me. Yes, I have a
Okay.
process that I go through as far as asking questions and trying to learn about you, but I am not going to I'll give you homework, and things that you can work on.
Darn.
Um, but, or, not necessarily homework, maybe challenges to help you
There
grow,
you go.
you know. But yeah, I'm not going to be able to just give you step 1, step 2, step 3, and this is going to give you success because we're all different. We all start at different points, and we all have experienced different things. So it's the relationship first, and then we do the business later.
Very personalized then, set up just for
Exactly.
them. That's really good. That's really good. Okay, well, I see that our time has ended. And I thank
Okay.
you. I thank you so much, Nacy. This was very informative, and I love it. I love having a conversation with you. And
Well,
so,
thank you for having me.
yeah.
I really do appreciate you giving me this time.
Oh, this is great. So I'll get some links from you, and I'll make sure I'll put it on the YouTube channel. So thank you, my pride and joy, for being here again, and look for Nacy's links in the comments and the description area. Alrighty, thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.